Now, how to get to the top? It's a question that drives ambitious business leaders. Who gets to the top? Well, that's a question that's more important than ever for businesses and wider society. Well, a new report today from Heidrick & Struggles shows that globally, gender diversity at the CEO level is stuck at just 5%, up from 4% last year. Meanwhile, here, the 30% Club, which aims to increase the number of women at board level, says there are only 13 women CEOs at our biggest 350 firms. So with me now, Anne Ken. She's co-chair of the 30% Club, and she's also executive vice chairman of MasterCard. And alongside her is Claire Skinner, who is a partner at Heidrick & Struggles. Welcome to you both. Claire, let me start with you. I mean, the proportion of women CEOs in this country actually fell last year. Is that because the number is so small that someone like Veronique Lowry stepping down at Kingfisher is enough to tilt the entire number?
Yes, it is, sadly. I mean, it is. We're seeing globally, it's 9% of CEOs were appointed were women. But sadly, yes, in the UK, we've fallen slightly behind. And
presumably that's going to continue this year, all the other things being equal, because Alison Cooper's stepping down at Imperial Brands.
Well, we need to ensure that when those new CEOs are coming through, that we have a really strong bench of female leaders capable of stepping into those shoes.
And Anne, I mean, it's fair to say there are some women CEOs coming in this year, or some who've just taken the helm, so it's not all bad news, is it?
No, definitely not. Obviously, we've got Alison over at Royal Bank of Scotland, and the good news this year is that we've actually hit the 30% level at board level for the FTSE 350 for the first time since we launched the 30% Club about 9 years ago. So that's a great result. We just need to see more coming through at the C-suite level.
So what are you targeting this year? Is it C-suite level? You better explain. That's people who have chairman, chief executive, chief financial officer in their title.
Yeah, effectively they are the executive committee that run companies, and we do have a fair number of CEOs that are part of the 30% Club, and they are committed to having 30% of their management teams, their senior management teams, be women in the next few years. That's their target. And if you get the right pipeline built within the companies, you will get those women rising through to the top.
So, Claire, I mean, you see that this is your job to identify talent. Are you seeing that pipeline coming through?
Yes, we are. And I think there's sort of two things that we're focusing on when advising our clients. It's a systematic investment and development of the pipeline. And we're seeing that over 70% of CEOs are being appointed from within. And although we're traditionally seeing those coming through the CFO and CEO and COO routes, we're looking at that wider female pipeline and then thinking about what additional gaps we can help fill in so they are ready to be CEOs. We have some incredibly talented women out there. We just need to get them into the corner office.
I guess the problem, Anne, though, is that there are only a limited number of executive roles on board. So unless you're a CFO, which is these days really the only executive post alongside a CEO, it's going to be really, really hard for you to gain the requisite experience.
Well, I think, you know, you're talking about the boards that have non-executives on them, and that's the rate that we've exceeded 30% now. If you think about managing boards inside the companies, the executive level, then there are many different roles there, and they range from things such as P&L managers to HR heads to chief legal counsel, and certainly women can take all of these positions.
So the route to the C-suite may well be in future then a lot of women taking non-exec roles at other companies and using that as a way of gaining requisite board experience.
I think that's right. I think that actually at the 30% Club we have a brilliant mentorship scheme that works across companies. There's 2,500 people involved in this, and so senior executives at one company actually mentor women who are coming up the ladder at other companies, and this gives the cross-company exposure and rounds out the women for the future.
Claire, I was really struck another piece of information in your report. The average female CEO is younger and better qualified than the average male CEO.
I know, it's fascinating, isn't it? 71% of the female CEOs who were appointed had an advanced degree versus 58% of their male counterparts. And you're right, they're younger, which is an interesting trend.
But Anne, isn't that depressing? Because it implies that women actually have to go that little bit further, get those extra letters after their names to break into the boardroom.
Well, I agree with you. It does seem that we're still living in a world where women have to be better to be offered the same opportunities. And that's something that we really have to address. What I love that we have here in the UK is that every company that has more than 250 people have to report on their gender pay gap and give examples of their gender parity initiatives. And I think all of that can start building that pipeline from a much younger age.
All right, Anne Cairns, Claire Skinner, good to see you both. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.